All right. Good morning. It's still morning, almost afternoon.
Yes, it is.
Right. Doing it well. Shout out to LL. You know what? LL has been around for a long time, and I am I'm really excited about that. You know, even like knowing from the beginning. And when he first came on the scene, remembering all that, the whole hip hop culture and understanding it, that's what these younger artists need to they really need to do. Instead of, and no shade to Ice Cube. No shade to Ice Cube at all. But if you want to know, LL is the one. LL is the one, because you remember New York is where it was at. Then West Coast came, you know?
That's where it originated from.
Right.
Exactly.
That's it. That's where it was at. All right, so check this out. Your girl, I'm on the road.
I'm fancy, huh?
I'm on the road. Listen, I gotta come ready. Listen, I'm in the funnest place in the United States, Orlando.
Yes.
Cheers.
And with your Mickey Mouse, and you know she loves the Mickey Mouse. If y'all don't know her, y'all know her now. She loves Mickey Mouse.
I do. I can't wait. I'm just like, I'm so excited. Like, I'm just excited. But I tell you something that's really different. I thought like all the, so you know how in Ohio, you got like the Cleveland Browns paraphernalia everywhere. You know what I mean? And you might have some Pittsburgh stuff. I thought it would have been a lot of Mickey stuff. They serious with their brand.
Oh, extremely.
You better go to Disney World. You want it.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I gotta have my cup. I don't have a straw, but I gotta get my teacup. Y'all know that.
Right. Gotta get your tea on.
Gotta get my tea on. And we're kicking it. My thermos, you better carry that. All right, check this out. We got a great show packed for you today. We need to get this party started. Hot topics. Let's start here. Let's start with my plane ride. So I'm flying Southwest real quick. Flying Southwest. All is good. You know, of course, I'm not, you know, people will ask, they'll be like, well, can I sit here? And I think that's so nice, but guess what? You paid for that ticket. That's, you know what I mean? Like, we all paid for a seat. You can't just be harboring seats like, no, this is for my friend. I just took your friend's seat. But, so what happened? Somebody comes in, I'm on the end. Now, I'm not about to move over. That's not going to happen. That's like church. You grab the perfect seat. Somebody want to come late, and you thought I was going to move down. Let me get up and let you get in there. Okay? So that's what happened. Then this dude comes. All right, I got to tell you, and it does matter. Color does matter in this situation. It's me on the end. Then it's a white girl. She sits by the window. She goes in and sits by the window. Older lady. And then black dude come. He locked up. Boom. You know, his hair locked up. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, not locked up, but his hair, he got it locked up. He go to the bathroom. He come. Younger kid.
I don't think Prisoners ride commercial, but go ahead.
Right. Because you know, listen, I wasn't first class. You don't be first class in the Southwest. Anyway, he comes back from the bathroom. He sits down. Now, him sitting down, all is well. This cat, he takes off his head wrap that he had his locks up in. He started fumbling with his dreads. Y'all know me. So I was like, you about to do your hair? Like, mind you, it's a white lady over there by the window. He over there doing his stuff. So out of all the seats, it was still empty seats on there. It was like rows that were empty, but he chose to sit between us. He started doing his hair. I said, you about to do your hair? I was like, So my homegirl is on the end across the way. And she was like, I see her shake her head like, this about to be interesting. So he was like, oh, no, I'm not about to do my, I was like, all right, just checking. I was like, let me know what we about to do. You know, like.
And why you come sit next to me?
Why you come sit next to me wanting to do your hair, right? So the lady's looking, but her face, listen, her face was like this. Wait, let me see. She was like this. I'm screaming for the listening audience. Her face was turned up. She was shocked. Her eyes was like 50-cent pieces. Her eyes was like he coughed.
Oh my God, yeah.
Now,
but isn't it? I think it's like that because I feel like anytime you're doing anybody's hair, it's like dandruff floating around.
Right, and
I think it's very low. I think it's a class thing. I feel like you do your hair in private. You're not supposed to do your hair in public.
Listen, not when we that close. So I'm not done. So he's in the middle. So you know you got the armrest.
Mm-hmm.
So the armrest is up. So he halfway on my seat. Yeah.
Space Invader.
Listen, he halfway on my seat, and I'm like, okay.
Uh-oh. You know you're OCD about your space.
Man, listen. And then, so I'm on the edge, so I'm able to lean out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm thinking, like, you remember when you used to get on the airplane? I felt like I was the it girl. I'm on a plane. The stewardess got their pantyhose on, their little pumps, the little kitten heels, and their little dresses. They looking fabulous, right?
Right.
Well, this chick looked like, I felt like I was at the BP at the gas station.
Okay.
I was like, so we don't do that anymore? She had on her black McDonald pants. You know how you can just wear the black, work at any fast food restaurant, the black pants. She had her little tennis shoes on. And it was just not neat. I was like, oh, this is what we doing. I ain't been on the plane in 2 years since COVID, right? Then the stewardess, and I understand COVID weight. Now, there was a time, see, this is how I'm growing. I'm getting older. Because before I used to be like, you can't do that. Well, the stewardess was a little thick. A lot of thick. So, now, this is me. I'm leaning on the side. She kept bumping into me because she had to walk sideways to get up and down the aisle. So she bumped, and she asked me if I could move in.
But you was hanging out.
I wasn't hanging out. I had my arm on this armrest. But she had a whole lot of booty and hips. and she was a white chick too. I'm like, when they get all this?
Well, right. The last time I flew one of the stewardess, I had a connecting flight or whatever. And yet one of the stewardess was big, and I noticed she kept bumping into me too, but I was tucked in. And she would have to go down the aisle sideways, because you know they make them aisles as tiny as possible.
But here's the thing. Watch this, Amber. Here's the thing. So, as she bumped, she invaded my space. And now I got old dudes sharing my seat. Where do I go? You know?
I would say something to the stewardess.
Well, I did.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, I did. No, I didn't say that to the stewardess because she couldn't help her situation. You know what I'm saying? Let's be like.
No, say something to the stewardess about the guy doing this.
Oh no, I did. I handled him. I put my armrest down, boom, and leaned in.
With the weight class, as far as like they used to have a certain weight class. They're just hiring anybody now.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, discrimination now.
Right. The whole cancel culture, and that's where I was getting to. I said, you know what? Now I understand. That's why I said I'm getting older. Now I understand why it was the way that it was. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, now I get it. Because you got to be able to move through the aisles. You know what I mean? Without an issue. But she wasn't just bumping into me either. It was the other people too in the back. And she was trying to serve drinks. So in my mind, I'm like, please don't drop the drinks. That's all I care about. Let me move and shift and do what I need to do. But my purpose for mentioning that is... now I understand. Because 20 years ago, I'd be like, no, everybody need to have a job. And if that's her, she can't help it and blah, 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 blah. But now I understand. Even with Victoria's Secrets, the owner of Victoria's Secrets, remember they were having, they had that dispute. We talked about it some time ago where you had I won't say the LGBTQ community, but you had some people that were trans and they wanted to be a part of it. You know, the fashion show that they have. Remember, they stopped that fashion show.
Yeah.
He said, absolutely not. Now he did, like some of their bra sizes are bigger. I can't fit nothing in there but the lotion. Right, and I said fit the lotion. That's it, okay? I'm like, that's it. But he decided, we'll cancel it all together. You're not going to make my business what you want it to be. I totally respected that. And it's like, if you want this, create it. If you want it, you create your own business and say, okay, this is what we're doing. But to try to impose what you deem is important to you, it's not okay. So I mad respect to him, and I'm not against anybody doing their thing, but you cannot impose on somebody else's life and say, this is what you need to be doing. No, you do it. So he just canceled it all together. So that's what happened, if you didn't know, with the Victoria's Secret fashion show. He was like, okay, well, I'm not doing an all-inclusive. He said was his vision. And he's a heterosexual man. This is my vision.
That's right.
So I respect him.
I do too. I respect the fact that if you have a vision, that nobody should be able to tell you how would I say, garner your vision. It's like, if that's something that you created, you know who you created it for. Nobody, no organization, no culture should be able to come in and tell you how to change that up. Mm-hmm. That's yours. You know what I'm saying? So I don't blame him for stopping that, because if that's his vision, nobody can come in and tell you about your vision. Period. And this, to me, my personal opinion, the world has gotten so sensitive. Everybody is so sensitive now. Like, every little thing is, everybody's sensitive. You can't say this, you can't do that anymore. I'm like, since when did we become so sensitive? That's my question.
Since when? That's a good question. Go ahead, Nick. When did we become so sensitive? It was pre-COVID, though. Let's be real. It was pre-COVID.
Yeah, definitely pre-COVID. We became sensitive. Basically, I'm going to start with the LGBT community. That's when everything started becoming sensitive.
Okay.
They want to include, and like I said, your preference is your preference. I don't care. But, it's starting where they're really wanting to be included in everything. I understand that. And so, between that and things going on with the black community, and, it's just like a mesh of things. But it was definitely pre-COVID. Like, the last 10 years, everybody wanted to start being sensitive about everything. You wanting to change classics like Dr. Seuss, some of the books. Then you wanting to change like the cartoons because of whatever. Then you're wanting to include gay characters in Disney. Like, you're everybody pushing the agenda on the babies. Let the babies be the babies. When they get old enough to make that decision on their own, fine. Then you got, now they're including non-binary, or, if you don't want to pick a gender, dang it, if you got a slit in the middle, you a woman.
Yes.
You were born a female. If you got a little pole sticking out, you a male. Period, point blank. That's what it is. That's the way God created us, and they're trying to change the narrative, and some people don't believe in God, and they want to change. Listen, how do you think you got here? You got here, God created man and woman.
Now, I will state this fact. If you identify as whatever it is that you identify during life, in death, they'll be able to tell if you are a male or a female, regardless. You can't get around that. Exactly. Due to the structure. Go ahead, Amber, your thoughts?
That's a great point, Mel. I think for me, that's one of the issues with it, is that I feel like it is a psychological disorder, and it perpetuated by a chemical imbalance, but it's like a physiological issue, not a psychological issue, but it's not like, it's like a delusion, basically, because like you said, the bone structure doesn't lie, your chromosomes don't lie, either you're a male or you're a female, period, unfortunately. Now that's sex, and sex is not the same as gender. So if you identify as a particular gender, okay, that's fine, but your sex is your sex, period. And then as far as the sensitivity, I think the LGBTQIA++ community rode in on the coattails of like the Black community and wanting inclusion. And I think that, with the civil rights movement, it was about inclusion, but it should have been about resources. And I do think that the LGBTQIA+ community, as well as the trans community, they don't need to push so hard for inclusion, but instead create their own lane, create their own space, create their own version, which is something Black people have done, but we've also tried to force our way into white spaces, which I think has been detrimental to us, instead of building our own infrastructures and institutions and resources and stories and traditions and all that stuff. And I feel like that's the issue with the LGBTQ community. It's like they're just really focusing on inclusion instead of making their own lane or creating their own space.
Okay. Hey, if you want in on this conversation, feel free to do so. The phone number here is 619-902-2287, 619-902-2287. You can call and you can text, and we'll read it live. Now, I want to jump in here on that as we end this topic and jump to the next one. Nick brought, she said she believed it started with the LGBTQ plus community. Now, here's my thing. When we asked, because the question was, when did America get so sensitive? Here's the thing. I didn't know that the LGBTQ plus community was excluded. Now watch this, and this is why. Now, being black, brown, I'm going to speak for me. Being black, yes, we need to be included. But being gay or whatever you choose, nobody even knows until it's voiced. So, where is, the exclusion? I'm not gay, so I don't understand, that part. So I don't want to just speak for everybody. But honestly, just looking at somebody, I can't tell who you sleep with. If you present as a female, if you're a male and you present as a female, I see a female. So if you don't voice it, I don't know. And as you said, Amber, you feel like, the LGBTQ plus community is riding the coattails of, African Americans. I'll say this. When Obama was in, President Obama, let me respect him, my apologies. When President Obama was in office and before, he signed the gay marriages into law, I heard a few people that voiced that they were gay say gay is the new black. That's when I had an issue.
Oh, for sure.
No.
And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Yours is a choice. And, some people argue that with me, which that's why I love people. Tell me, let's communicate, And they're like, well, it's not a choice. This is who I am. Okay, but you voiced it. We walk outside and it's shown.
Right.
So that's the difference. All right, let's move on to this sheriff convention, like, I guess, banquet or whatever it was in Georgia, where a deputy sheriff reached his hand down a judge's dress while she was on a date with another sheriff. He turned away, and this sheriff, now it matters, color matters here, white sheriff, decided to put his hand down a black judge's dress and grab her breasts. Here's the thing, sexual assault. That place was full of other sheriffs and nobody arrested him. What's your thoughts on that? And I'll tell you who the judge was in a second. What's your thoughts on that, Art?
Well, first of all, that is totally absurd for nobody to arrest him for assaulting a judge. Like, especially for her to be black, that is just totally wrong. Like, nobody's thing. That's not cool. I mean, again, here you go, you have that brotherhood of, police and sheriff and things like that. So, they protect their own. So, of course, it's like, ain't nobody gonna say nothing.
Okay, you break it up. Go ahead, Nick. What's your thoughts?
First of all, woo, it happened because she was a black judge. Because if she was a white judge, you know, he probably would have done it, because I think he was intoxicated, I think. But, you know, they would have stopped him. They would have grabbed him. But because it was a black woman, a black judge, a woman, they chose to do nothing. Now, in that case, I guarantee you she would have popped them. They would have went and grabbed her.
Right.
Yeah, you know that's what would have happened. If she would have slapped them, they would have grabbed her.
Okay, Amber.
I don't want to focus too much on the fact that she's a judge, because at the end of the day, she's a woman and she was violated. And this sheriff that did this, yes, he was intoxicated. Apparently, he was heavily intoxicated, and he has a problematic history. And it is known that law enforcement and officials will attack women, particularly women of color, black women who are seen as unprotected, prostitutes, who are working women, things like that. This is very well known, and it's because, and I think that it's less about race and more about blue privilege, and the fact that a lot of police officers and people in law enforcement protect each other. They make excuses for each other, and they don't hold each other to the same standards that they hold other people to. And the fact that she's a judge just means it's getting national attention. It's going to get this. There's going to be more coverage of the issue, but it happens all the time. It happens all the time to black women, and the more disadvantaged that black woman is, the less anyone even cares, including other black women or black people in general. And it's I hope that it will facilitate change, and that we can, because I know that some places are looking into like more accountability for the police departments, but that's something that should be happening on like a national scale, because it really is a systemic problem with the American judicial system.
Okay, now, did you look at the judge is Judge Hatchett? Let me say this. The person that she was on the date with, he grabbed his hand. So the guy she's on the date with, he didn't just let it go. When he turned back and saw it, he grabbed his hand. Do you think it was power? Because that's the way that I looked at it as, okay, yeah, you could be a judge, but you're still a woman and watch me degrade you.
Yes, definitely. And I think from what I understand, all sexual assault, rapes, things like that, it's very much about power. It's very much about control. It's also about humiliation. And whether she was the judge or not, he wanted to humiliate her not only in front of a whole room full of people. From what I understand, there was many witnesses. Then on top of a room full of people, she had an actual date. She was with a man.
How disrespectful was that?
She wanted to do that. How disrespectful. It was definitely more than just sexual. Like, her tatas were so appealing. No, he wanted to humiliate her. He wanted to exercise his power, and he wanted to bring her down several levels. And I find it hard to believe that he didn't know who she was.
Oh, you know he knew exactly who she was.
I feel like women who are in positions of power, they carry themselves differently. And you can meet a woman who's a CEO, a manager, whatever, and you may not know her position, you may not know her company, you may not know her resume, but you can tell that's a woman of power. And I'm sure that's how she carries herself. And he was in his drunken stupor. He was like, I need to bring her down a couple notches. You
know what? And here's my thing. Yeah, okay, you can be drunk. Does that give you the right to violate somebody? No. And here's my thing. He remembered it, so he wasn't that intoxicated. Go sit down. Now let's move on to the next topic. Pastor Jamal Bryant, New Birth. Yes, I am. I'm dealing with the church right now. Had the nerve to comment on Kevin Samuels.
Was it New Birth? I thought it was the Black Church something coalition.
Oh, no, who? Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant. He's the pastor of New Birth.
Oh, okay, no, but there was another pastor of
Wait, before we get to that other pastor, we talking Pastor Jamal Bryant. Are you familiar with Pastor Jamal Bryant and his history? What about you? Go ahead, Art.
No, well, I need you to share the history of it. Yeah, I'm familiar with him. He's quite controversial, so I want to hear this story. I haven't heard this story.
Okay, well, hold on. With Pastor Jamal Bryant, here's my thing. My thoughts on him condemning, and I'm using air quotes for the listening audience, condemning Kevin Samuels. Sir, you like the biggest, well, let me say, you may have been, and these are my words and not the words of the co-host, on Shop Talk with Mel. Like, for real, Pastor Bryant. And guess what? And I'm not, I am talking about it. You done cheated on your wife. You done had all these different people. You got a gang of children, and I'm glad you take care of them, and he does, so I'll give him his props there. But, sir, you can't talk about this man and his promiscuity. Is that a word? I ain't even got a bell.
Promiscuity.
Yeah, there you go. You can't talk. Thanks, Amber got my back. You can't talk about Kevin Samuels and how he does his thing when you, I'm not going to say currently, are doing yours, but you did yours. Have some understanding. And some, you know what I mean? And he doesn't, and I'm not saying the people that have been through things, they can't have an opinion. So he has his opinion. And they may be trying to teach somebody. The man is dead and gone. You should have been out there when he was first talking, let me have a meeting with this brother and let me say A, B, C, and D. Now, Kevin Samuels, if you don't, I think he was married twice. Don't quote me on it, but I believe he was married twice. So some people felt he shouldn't be giving relationship advice since he's no longer married. We talked about this last week, guys, remember? I was like, yeah, all of us been married, and we still could give the advice because we don't want you to repeat things or look out for those red flags because it's probably a parade to follow. But Pastor Jamal Bryant, don't be condemning this cat with the rest of the people. Why don't you just sit there and pray for him like you do? Make your Twitter posts like you do. They're very inspirational. But you can't be dogging Kevin Samuels. And here's the thing. Kevin Samuels, some of the stuff he was saying is accurate. Is his delivery. We talked about that. So I'm like, you can't be mad. And then, his fan base, they're the ones that's looking. Some people like to be abused. And clearly they have to. That's why they joined Love. That's why they liked the post and kept going back. What you got?
Well, I'm gonna say as far as Pastor Jamal Bryant, I'm just gonna go biblical. I'm gonna go Pastor there for a minute.
Go ahead, go to church. Let's go to church.
You without sin, let him cast the first stone. So my whole thing of it is, you gotta rock, because you can't have an opinion about somebody when you doing what you do. Especially when you're a public figure. If you are over here doing what you do, I mean, as far as Mr. Samuel goes, you know what I'm saying, rest in peace to that brother. He had his opinion about life. He spoke about how he felt. He gave his opinion. Some people agreed, some people didn't agree. So it's I feel when somebody else chimes in after a person is gone, I feel that that's disrespectful, because if you had something to say, you should have said it while he was alive and well. Why would you wait till after he's dead and gone to want to spew your opinion about a person? Which it doesn't make sense to me. It's I believe in respecting the dead. If you had something to say, then you could have pulled him to the side when he was alive and well, and you could have had that conversation with him. And to me, don't speak about folks after they're gone. To me,
okay, go ahead, Amber. I know you got something.
Okay, well, I'm not a Kevin Samuels supporter or a fan, and I actually don't believe in supporting respecting the dead. If someone was a trash human being, a pedophile, rapist, murderer in life, then they don't need to be respecting the dead. They did, oh well, and we all gotta die. That is not something well, some people die and it's very sad. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna meet our end at some point. And I think that for this pastor, who like I said, I'm not familiar with, I don't know nothing about him, to me, obviously it's very fake. And I feel like the issue is that, to me, it's pandering. Because he didn't say nothing when he was alive. You didn't care enough to correct him when he was alive, to speak up. If you actually felt, so strongly against him, you would have spoke up earlier. So I felt like it was pandering, it's disingenuous, it's lazy. And it's at this point, it's a weak, false display of effort for the people who did not support Kevin Samuels. Like, you didn't need to, why weren't you saying something before when he was alive? Why weren't you combating some of his statements when he was living?
So you think it's just like jumping on the bandwagon of what's current?
Right. And it's just like when he was making his controversial statements, this pastor was silent, allegedly. So it's just, I feel like it's important as a person to be able to vet, to be able to see when someone doesn't actually have your best interest at heart. Because if he did, he would have spoke up when he was still living.
Okay, look, speaking of molestation and how people are and respecting the dead, Nick, we gonna go this way with you. Now, there's a pastor of a church, and the church is called Straight and Gay Pentecostal. Go ahead, take a moment, people. Take your time. So, listen here. This church, wait. So, for real, listen, this is a church. The pastor of Straight and Gay Pentecostal Church is up here molesting little girls. Now, I actually took a breath, as my guy Dawson Speaks always say, take a breath. Yeah, the church, Straight and Gay. Wait a minute. Straight and Gay Pentecostal Church molesting the girls. Why would you even let your child, your daughter, like be with them be with the pastor by himself? It seemed a little suspect.
I feel like in this day and age, it's completely suspect and inappropriate. But there are, and I've learned this, I've observed this. For example, talking about like the women that support Kevin Samuels. There are a lot of people, women especially. I don't know if we're going to discuss, or maybe next episode we're going to discuss the nature boy cult. There are people who will fall victim to pretty lies, and they're like gullible. So even though to us it seems crazy, like why would you let your daughter go unsupervised with a man, no matter if he's a pastor or not? There are some very like gullible people.
Okay,
there really are.
All right, let's go to Nick, because I had that question from Nick. Go ahead, Nick.
That is wrong on so many levels, but then you're, ooh, Jesus. Listen, that you straight. You're a pastor of a Straight and Gay Pentecostal. That right there is a mockery of God. Number one. Period, point blank in the conversation. And me, like I said, I don't have nothing against gay community. Several family members love you to death. Several friends love you to death. But that is a mockery of God. We can fight about that all day long, and I don't care how many of y'all get mad at me. That is the complete mockery of God. Ain't nobody saying that you can't worship God. You're supposed to worship God. But right there was a number, the first and foremost and the biggest no and mistake, a mockery of God. And then this man, this so-called pastor, is molesting the children. Cut it off. Get back to them days where they used to castrate men. Cut it off. That's what they need. Cut it off. That's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
The one girl, she's 13 years old, but I guess other now women are coming forward about this pastor. So he's still in court right now. But he told the 13-year-old when she did her testimony, he told her to come over there and sit with him. So she sat on the arm of his chair. I guess she was like in the basement, if I'm not mistaken. I kind of, I was listening, but not listening to that part. I needed to see the details. And then he asked her to sit on his lap. 13?
No.
Well, I mean, I will say that's past pubescent age, and when it comes to pedophilia, there's like different levels of, because there's people who are like attracted to infants, people who are attracted to toddlers, people who are attracted to like prepubescent children, and then there's people who are attracted to like post-pubescent, but they're still minors. So, and then we're talking about the black community. A lot of times when we have these underage girls who are in that teenage range, like the older adolescent range, they're like, oh, well, she was fast, or, what was she wearing, and da-da-da-da-da, as if that actually matters. She's still a minor.
I don't care how old, whatever the age is, no young girl should be sitting on no grown man's lap. Unless it's their daddy their grandfather, their uncle, and then even those are suspect. My daughter would
Right.
never sit nobody's lap except mine. Period. You know, that right there. And who has the vision enough to name a church the gay and straight Pentecostal? Like, first of all, that is not a church that I would attend. I'm just gonna say it straight out because, like Nick said, that is the straight mockery of God. You do not, I repeat, you do not name a church something of that nature. And then people have the audacity to go there, you know. And I understand on one note, I might sound a little controversial saying this, I understand on one note, but then again, I don't understand on another, because my whole thing of it is like, we're all children of God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the thing of it is that, and I believe that the church has been so judgmental against me that, you know, they probably were like, well, we gonna just create our own church because they won't accept this, so we'll just go do our own thing. You know, and that's what happens a lot of times.
Well, so, and in that case, yeah, create your own. Don't come changing the other one. Because I'll never forget. I remember we at a church that I was attending. First of all, if you hear that sound in the background with the sink gulping and all that other stuff, I'm at a janky hotel. So that's where I'm at. So if you hear that glump, 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 I guess somebody taking a shower, flushing their toilet upstairs. Who knows? But that's what that is. Now. Right now, what we were talking about, even, you know, when I was talking about the Victoria's Secret, what the owner, Victoria's Secret said, create your own. So in that case, I guess they decided to create their own. But a church that I was attending, I'll never forget. We were there, and you have gay people that were in the community, and it's all good that, you know, that was in the congregation, community and congregation. And it's all good, but if you think you're going to sing in the choir looking like, I'm going to give you the description for the listening audience so you can get this visual. So there was a man up there in the choir, in the front. And him being in the choir, he had, you know, his head was shaved. He had on the choir uniform, but he had a face full of makeup. And some heels on, some pumps, looking right crazy. Here's what's interesting. The pastor turned around and he sat the entire choir down. He was like, we will not make a mockery of God in here. Everybody down.
That's right.
I had so much respect for him.
That's what he's supposed to do.
At that moment. Because I said, you know what? He's like, no, we're not going to do that. Like, you can choose to do what it is that you want to do, but we're not going to make a mockery. And you're not going to be sitting back here. And just what Nick said, confusing the babies. Mm-hmm. So you got lipstick and everything. It's like, wait a minute, is this a man or is this a woman? You know what I mean? It's just a lot of questions that the little people have to ask that they should not be asking at this age.
We're in that space.
Right? Because I'm going to tell you, it was a distraction. It was a distraction for me. So I can only imagine.
And like Nikki said, it's taking away the innocence of a child. A child's innocence is so important. And the thing of it is that they should not have knowledge of everything. I remember at one point in time, you know, when we were growing up, Mel, that, you know, being gay was like, it was hidden. It was like almost taboo in a sense where, you know, you barely, but everybody speaks on it now. You know, it's like, as a black male and a heterosexual black male, I feel like I don't have to tell the world, hi, my name is Art Ball and I'm a heterosexual black male. I shouldn't have to tell you.
Right.
That's nobody's business.
Right.
You know, so people kill me with, I have to let everybody know that I'm this or I'm that. It doesn't matter what type of human being.
Now,
that's where everybody is being lost. It's not what you identify as. Of course, race, that's the one a given. You can't deny that. You can see what race you are, unless you are very high, the light skin.
Go ahead. You got company. You got company like I got this janky sink over here. It's all good. But here's the thing with what you're saying. All right, you should not have to introduce yourself as how my name is RB. I'm a heterosexual, unless it's relevant. if it's relevant and you're trying to talk to somebody, then yes, almost like a vegan. Yeah, nobody. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not a vegan though, but look, I'm like that takes a lot of a lot of whatever it takes. Commitment.
I feel like it's gotten so out of control that if that's who you want to be, that's fine.
Okay, let me finish this. If I tell somebody that I'm a vegan, that's where I was going.
Right.
It's because I'm ordering. It's irrelevant. There's a reason behind it. Just as if I'm gay, there's a reason behind it. Because maybe I find somebody else attractive. I'm gonna say it, but just to be out like, hey, how you doing? And I understand the pride in it, and you're excited about it. Like, I don't know, but I get Nick when she's like, just like black. Like, we don't have to put it up and be like, okay, I'm black. There you go. Or is it that we use the Black Lives Matter? Because everybody's using that, you know what I mean? To actually say, hey, I'm black. Like, I don't understand.
I don't understand it. I feel like, like in today's society, like they're so busy pushing that agenda, and that's why a lot of these kids are confused, because they're so busy pushing the agenda on them, and that's why they're confused, because it's like, they see things everywhere. If that's what you want to do with your personal thing, that's fine. But I feel like when you push it on kids, it's like you're interrupting their innocence. You're confusing them. You're trying to make them that way. No, like Nick said, if you were born a boy, then you're a boy. If you're born a girl, you're a girl. Period. Now what you choose to do when you get grown and of age, that's different. But I feel like pushing all this, the LGBTQ2++ or whatever, pushing that upon people is just wrong. Period. I mean, when growing up in the 70s, it was a rarity or taboo that you seen, that gay person, that gay man or that lesbian woman. But the thing that wasn't pushed back then.
Yeah, and the show is not about, let me say that the show is not about gay and trans, the LGBTQ plus community. I'm just having to put that out there. So we're getting ready to move on. But before we do that, let me go to a quick commercial break. Let's do some things here. Battle of the Sexes Luncheon and Day Party, June 4th, 2022, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastwood Event Center. Tickets are on sale now. They are $35. There will be no tickets sold at the door. You can get your tickets from Five Grands Boutique in Warren, Ohio, or PayPal and Cash App. So again, there will be no tickets sold at the door. The guest speaker for this year is author Blair Nash. He's wrote several books. I had him on the show talking about love is a beautiful thing until it's not. But he is a relationship strategist. Love him to pieces. Amazing. A good time. We're adult conversation, so you must be 18 and over. Adult conversation and games. Okay? And then we'll feast and just have a all-around good time. For more information, please call 619-902-2287, 619-902-2287. Yes, it's the same number to call in live or text your comment right now. Let's move on to Jesse Williams' new pick. Did you see it? He's on Broadway and he got a full frontal, and everybody's saying that he's blessed.
I ain't see it. I'm mad. Everybody was sharing the video. Didn't nobody want to share it with me? I want to see.
You got to go to the play. Buy your ticket.
I have to be blessed. I want to see.
Buy your ticket and you can. Go ahead, Amber. What you got?
I think that female nudity is something that's been accepted for a very long time in art, and many, many centuries ago, male nudity was also accepted in art, like in the Renaissance period. So it's his art form. He's expressing himself and whatever. I don't know anything about his show, but I did hear about his nudity, and I don't see why it's a big deal. I don't think it should be a big deal.
You know what?
For an adult, it's not like children. As long as children were in the audience,
the big deal is because they say, air quotes for listening audience, it is a big deal.
Well,
okay,
that you know what? there's
no,
women who
hear me. It's not a big deal, but the reason they're talking about it is because it is a big deal. Now, read between the lines. So that's yes. So look, I'm like the thing is when they did it, I guess when you go into those plays, some of those performances, you're supposed to like lock your phone, turn your phone off, not take pictures, and there we go with the janky sync again. And you have that. It's the honor system. Kind of like with like Dave Chappelle, the honor system that you'll do right, like, with your phones, like don't take pictures on video, Dave Chappelle's is don't bring weapons in. But with this particular, with the production, and I will agree to it, don't bring your phone in, be video, and come on, let people see it, because it takes away. So he was vulnerable, and I just say, well, who knows if he was vulnerable, but I would think if you're nude, you're vulnerable at that moment and you're doing your performance and you're putting 110% in, and for somebody to take that and turn it into, oh my gosh, you got to see this. It's kind of like you're taking the art away from it. You know what I mean? Now, this question is for Art. Do you think that the outpour of communication, I'm choosing my words wisely, would have been the same, or the response would have been the same if it was a female that was nude?
Well, I'm going to bounce off of what Amber said. For years it's been about the female body as far as art and things of that nature. And at one point in time, centuries ago, Michelangelo made it, abundantly clear that the male body was just as beautiful as the female body. As far as I'm concerned, I feel like, it's a little different with men. Like I said, I guess you could say if he was blessed, it becomes more of a little controversy, because the fact that he was, I'll say, unquote, I haven't heard that story, he's blessed, so it's like, oh, okay. So I feel it's always different for a man, you know what I'm saying? So for a woman, it's like kind of a natural aggression for, I guess I'm not going to say, but women are more exposed than men sometimes. I think it's more female strip clubs than it is men. So, like, for a man to be on stage and giving that type of performance and things of that nature, I feel it's, I feel like, yeah, of course it's going to be a little bit more dramatic or eye-catching, if I can say it that way. But, I mean, hey, but the problem I have with it is, like you said, people take away from the art form.
Now, if the way that his pictures are being shared, because Nick didn't get it yet, if that was a female and her pictures were being shared, you think it would have the same effect, or would somebody be pressing charges? Go ahead, Amber.
Well, yeah, because Black China's, because that's revenge porn.
You said Black China.
Black China and Rob Kardashian. But what I wanted to also piggyback on what Art was saying is that it's actually been scientifically proven that there's substantially more female nudity in film, particularly in the American film industry, than male nudity. It's like different in like maybe like France or certain European countries, but that's I think rooted in the history that the female form has been seen more as far as art form, right? But
okay.
And there's sexism in it too, because also actually if you get into the horror genre, you get the same thing, and it's more sadistic and stuff. But anyways, my main point is that as a heterosexual woman, I love that Art mentioned that the male body is beautiful as well. The male human form.
Jesse Williams is.
So as a woman, I would completely agree with Art and say that yes, I find the male human body can be very beautiful. And so I think a part of women's liberation, because I also feel like historically in art, women didn't have the resources to purchase art, so really have an opinion on what they deemed beautiful. That was very much a man thing, because women didn't even have jobs and had the money to buy art, right? So now that women have money and women can buy art and women can have an input on what is beautiful, I think more women who are mostly heterosexual are going to be like, no, men's bodies are quite beautiful.
Well, we're not arguing that. We're speaking. We are bringing it to light. We are spreading the beautifulness.
Here's the one thing I want to say. I want to say this. America is the only country that makes a big deal about nudity. Every other country in the world does not make a big deal about nudity. You know, I mean, we're the only country that's like, oh, somebody's nude. It's like, oh my God. It's like, okay, but you're born into this world nude. Why is it such a big deal? You know, you have people all around the world that don't look at nudity the way America does. You know, they make it so shameful. It's such a bad thing. You know, it's like, if you go to France, there's nothing. You know, if you're in China, that's nothing. All
right, let's go to the comments. Okay, Jessica, Fort Wayne, Indiana. I love that point, Amber. We have more of an input. Speaking of females. Thank you, Jessica. Spread the beauty. Yes, we spreading the beauty, okay? We are definitely spreading the beauty of Jessie Williams. Now, everybody don't look like that. Let's be real. Right. So there's a difference.
Not all women look like the women in art. You know,
I guess it's the body that we should have when we change it ourselves. Because, but unless you're dealing with a guy that's just strictly head and shoulders.
Face model, neck up, a bust.
Right, but I'm saying like that ain't beautiful. No head, no shoulders, and y'all figure that out. If you don't get it, let it go over your head.
That's for the women right there. I'm out of it.
Listen, somebody head and shoulders, you watching the play, you still watching the play.
I'm gonna say it like this. I got one, I'm cool. Y'all go ahead.
Y'all go, right? Listen, yeah, right? But for real, if you're watching a performance and somebody with head and shoulders, you still watching the performance. But then you got somebody like Jessie Williams showing off. He don't even know he's showing off. I don't think he know that he was like that. But you'll be like, oh no, I done forgot what this whole plot was about.
Exactly.
You know, scene, you know, when did somebody had seen.
Well, it's like this. When you see somebody that's blessed, I mean, you gonna look at that blessing. That's just what it is. Come on, y'all.
That's
weird.
Let's
talk about it. Let's keep it 100. It's like if a man sees a well-endowed woman walking down the street and if she built, he gonna look, girl or not, he gonna take a peek. Just like that. I mean, if it's a performance, he didn't consider it that way, but you know, like you said, maybe he didn't know he was blessed, but I guess the audience did because they took videos and pictures. So.
Well, listen, we spread.
Let him know at one time.
Just like Jessica said, spreading the beauty. That's what that was, spreading the booty. I mean, the beauty. Look at me. See, y'all got me off camera. Y'all off the chain. Crazy. Yes, I'm here. Okay, comment. Some out here built like baby Chewbacca. Nah, man. You ain't lying. Listen here. That is straight a turn off. Let's move on. I heard Amber talk about Black China and Rob Kardashian. Let's talk here. You know that she sued Rob, lost from there. But guess what she did? She gave her life to Christ. She got baptized, I want to say yesterday.
Oh.
Yes, she did. Wow. Yes, she did. Now, some people feel like, oh, okay, well, if she really got baptized, why did she put it on social media? Is she trying to get some footage or leverage, like for it to be seen? Because some people feel like it's more intimate. Now, for me, mine was more intimate, but I guess everybody's sharing. Maybe some people were like, yeah, put this out here. We spread all the negativity. Let's spread the positive.
Exactly. There you go.
And I felt like that instead of spreading her nude pics, I would much rather her spreading her baptism.
The good news.
Even if it is just for clout or whatever, spread something positive for clout.
This is true. I feel like clout chasing is just such a, oh my God, it's just out of control. But I agree with Amber. I feel like, if you're going to put something out there, put something positive out there so people can, say, oh, okay, wow, she's trying to change her life. She's done this for so long, so she's trying to make a change. What's wrong with showing that she's making a change? I think that's a good thing, But people are so stuck on controversial stuff nowadays. It's just like, really.
Go ahead, Amber. Read the comment.
Oh, Okay, so Jessica Faison Golden said, I hope it's a real act and life-changing experience for China, though, and not a publicity stunt.
So she feels the same way that you do. I pray it's not a publicity stunt either.
Yeah.
Now let's
play
move
with God. Don't play with God.
Right. Listen, I'm still stuck on gay and straight Pentecostal. Like, come on, man. Somebody somewhere in the family should have said, we're not doing that.
That's not a good idea.
But see, here you go. This is where it's at. When you don't have great grandma and grandma them like we used to have, you know, because great grandma and grandma them understood real church and really understood God. Now, you know, somebody, grandma somewhere said, I know you ain't going to that church. But, you know, you got some people that just, I'm going anyway because of, they want to be rebellious. You know what I'm saying? Woo! But for me, I just feel like that's not somewhere that I would want to go and congregate. I'm sorry.
Go
ahead.
I just got one question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you know we're going to get some backlash about that subject.
Who cares? This your talk.
I know, but I'm just saying, how would I want to know how they feel if a pastor came out and had a church called Straight Pentecostal Church. Ooh, y'all wouldn't like that now, would you?
Well,
that ain't cute. You are there to worship God. That's it. That's all. The name really don't matter.
It doesn't.
Listen, that name matter to me. What's in the name?
It matters in this case, yes. But I mean, like, how would you feel, or would you feel comfortable, or would there be an outrage if it was the straight Pentecostal?
But see, that seems, but that seems all inclusive though. That's all inclusive. So they didn't even touch on that. But we got to move on to the next subject. How do you guys feel about the baby formula crisis?
Actually, I just wanted to share this with listening audience. I read a comment. I'm not in that situation, but I read a comment that said, if you're a mother and you need formula, go to Amazon and then change the country from America to Canada, and then you can have it shipped to your door, no problem. Because allegedly, the crisis is only happening in America. So if you change your shipping country, you can get it.
Wow. I'm gonna have to check into that. Thanks for giving that information.
It, just by the way, but
yeah, I get it.
For the people that need it, I just read that last night, and I think that's great information for whoever might be in need.
It is, and interesting you should say that. It's almost like are we trying to promote, which that's what we do in the hospital. We want to promote breastfeeding. We do that for the new moms, mother baby. But do you think America is like, let's get back into that? And
I feel like it's a concerted effort between the abortion rights issue that's happening, just certain things in the media. I feel like the interracial relationships push. I feel like the formula alleged shortage. I feel like that's all population related, and there's a bigger agenda, and it has to do with people making babies.
Okay.
Here we go.
1 second, Art. Hold on 1 second. Amber, I need you to go to the comment.
So Randy M. Stevens says, in that situation, been doing it for months. It's true.
Okay, and we got another comment.
Mrs. Dimples, said, not all women can breastfeed, though, so formula is still needed.
Oh, definitely. We agree that formula is still needed, no doubt. But it's just interesting how, especially if you're sick and you're on antibiotics, all that good stuff, it's like, I was going to say drugs, but I do know, like, with certain drugs, we encourage you to breastfeed your baby if you carried and you were addicted, because it helps them with their, okay? So I just got to put that, look, got to edutain you a little bit. I just think it's sad that we got in this situation, and it's great that we help people, but we got to help ourselves. So our babies, which is our future, we can't even feed our babies, but we sending food somewhere else, and I'm not going to say where. All right? Now, look, Art, like, don't. All right, let's move on to the next topic. I got to cover all of these. Wendy Williams. Wendy said that she was coming back Per Fat Joe, that interview, I watched that interview. She said she would be back in September. Now, watching that show, she wasn't like really focused. Watching that interview, she wasn't really focused. And I don't know whether that's going to be or not. All right, my cousin was here. Hey. I don't know if she's going to be or if that's accurate, because to my understanding, they gave her spot to Sherri Shepherd. And Sherri saw the same interview I saw, because Sherri actually had some concern. She said she was concerned. And then some people feel as though, well, we don't need that. You know what I mean? They had her camp, Wendy's camp, talking to Sherri's camp. And this is all extra stuff to kind of gas people up on the internet, saying different things. And it was a negative comment from Wendy's camp, allegedly. Let me cover myself. Regarding Sherri saying that she was concerned. It was more or less like, you don't have to be concerned. Do I believe that that's accurate? I don't. Let me tell you why. Because Wendy can pick up the phone and call Sherri. Sherri can pick up the phone and call her. You got Norman, and you know both of them, but even they had a relationship any old way. So I just don't see that. I just don't. And I hope she get her money thing together. But what I actually saw on that interview is... And I hate to say it, you know, like what Britney Spears was dealing with her conservatorship, I kind of seen where some things was a little off.
Well, and I heard that as well.
Oh, did you? Somebody else felt the same way. Okay.
I heard that as well, and a lot of the comments I saw were wishing Wendy the best, which is great, that positive energy, but also acknowledging that a full-on talk show might be too much for her. And that maybe a podcast would be better. And I saw one comment that said that honestly, even a podcast might be a little bit too much for her. So I think a lot of people are acknowledging that they're starting to see some things that are not quite right.
And yes, and a podcast is, you know, podcasts are good. The reason I like podcasts is because you can say what you want to say. So the censorship is like, you know, off. But Wendy started from radio, got to TV. Everything, and let me say, a lot of people couldn't handle what she has gone through, because she done dealt with that, you know, public humiliation. Your man is out here, and not just her man, her husband is out here with somebody else. You have a child with somebody else. My job is to talk about everybody, and now this is my situation. My mother passes away. That is a lot in a short period of time. Now, to just say, okay, well, erase Wendy, I don't think that. Can she do it? I believe she can, because she has done it. So we know she can do it. Podcast, yeah, she'll do excellent on a podcast. And then she can say what she really want to say, and then we'll get to know her. But usually your camp that's around you, one or two things that happen with your camp that's around you. They could take you down, or they can bring you up. And or, number 3, or E, all of the above. The same people that's building you up might have another plan. And that's why I think her ex-husband was the person, because they couldn't stand him, that was watching and making sure that things didn't go the other way. So he was protecting himself, I'm going to say, because he had an invested interest in her show, obviously, and he was getting paid off of it. I just believe that he need to come on back if he wants to still get paid, because he's losing money and she's losing money. But for somebody to just take her money, that's interesting. Who would it be? Because remember, she was having an issue with her brother at some point. So she didn't trust anybody. So who are these people that you trusted? I listened to Oprah many years ago, and Oprah said, sign all your checks.
That's right.
And yes, every last one of them. I said, oh yeah, let the Lord keep blessing me. I'm signing every last one of them, because okay, yeah, thank you. That's your job. That's your position. I need you to bring it my way. Just the same as what was happening but the same thing happened. Remember Steve Harvey? Steve Harvey was signing his checks, but his accountant was stealing the money, and that amount was coming out. He thinking his taxes being paid, and then he got hemmed up. You got to be in it. And, you know, especially when it's you and you are the brand, you have to be in it. Unfortunately, you have to, because, you know, it's like, okay, well, I got to do everything when it comes to your dollar. Oh, yes, because it can make or break you. And does that mean, okay, you just money hungry? No, I'm protecting my assets.
Yeah,
and that's
the money, that's your money. You got every right to protect it. It's yours.
Okay, let's talk about this mom. Let's talk about this mom real quick. A mom wrote a post, and she was upset, and she said, all that crying we did at the graduation for you to work at Dollar General. I know, I would have laughed too. That's so funny. But wait.
The high school graduation?
No, the college graduation. But wait a minute. Now, is it funny? It's hilarious, but it's sad at the same time. Only because you want your child to do what they want to do. You know, it's your life. But we do as parents. We do have plans for our children. And we'd be like, is there anything wrong with people working at Dollar General? No. We know they charging more because now things ain't $1. It's $1.25. So, with that being said, can you just imagine you sitting there, you like, yay, you graduated college and I got all these bills and that's what we choosing?
Well, I would assume they're just starting out, and it didn't say if they were like at entry level or they just like management, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, because I think the upper management gets paid decent. And I would think that them posting it publicly is like a little bit...
I think they were hurt.
Right, but I also feel like it could be an issue of you having expectations for your child and not communicating them.
Okay, Nick, go ahead. What you got?
A lot of these jobs nowadays want you to have a college degree, but they also want you to have experience. So a lot of these college graduates still can't get a job in the field because they don't have experience. So there's a lot to go with that too. So that individual may not have had a choice at that particular time, because now these jobs want you to have that degree and some experience. How am I going to get any experience if I can't get hired in my field? Exactly. So that's been going on for several years. Is to why, you start seeing college graduates working in entry-level jobs like McDonald's, like Dollar General, Dollar Tree, because they have these big executive jobs making the good money. A lot of them want you to have the experience as well. Okay, we see you have that degree, thank you, but I need you to go somewhere and work and get that experience.
And it's temporary, okay? Because that degree
so that's what you say. Go ahead, Art.
I'm just gonna say that whoever's mama that is, they wrong for that. On blast like that, talking about all that college degree, you didn't work at Dollar General. I mean, like they just stated, both the ladies just stated, Nicole and Amber just stated, you have to, if they don't understand about get into an internship or anything of that nature, they get into an internship to get some experience, or you know what I'm saying, they don't have any job experience. You have to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Even though, okay, they graduated from college. Okay, they might not have worked in college. Maybe all they did was just go to school. Maybe they didn't get a job. Maybe they just went to school the whole time and not ever had a job. So it's like, it may be their first job experience, but I feel like that's wrong. You don't put a person on blast just because, especially your child. I would not do my son like that. It's like, okay, my son has an associate's in graphic art design, but I'm not going to be like this. All he did was get that degree and go work at the furniture store. You don't do that to your kid.
Okay, all right. Can we shop talk? Because, we keeps it 100. Now, that's the diplomatic answer. All y'all say some very nice things. Look, watch this. You ain't gonna tell me that you don't know a mama that will say that. You ain't gonna tell me that.
Definitely.
Every mama
I bring it up.
Every black grandmama, mama don't say that. That's just given. If that ain't black, I don't know what that is. That's black all day. Come on now.
Listen. I gotta say this. I got a friend, and I know me. Let me tell you that I could see myself saying that. I know that, and mine will be ready for the look. That's probably why mine is ready for the real world, and I got what I got. Listen, you think you gonna cyberbully one of mine? Yeah, okay, they got it at the house. Because I'm going to keep it 100. Now, I will say, I didn't pay for that degree and you doing what? That's what we doing? I want them to live their life, but I need to know what your plan is.
Right.
I need to know, what is your plan? You plan on staying here? If you plan on owning a Dollar General, but you do have, and I'm going to say this, you have so many degrees out there and they're not hiring in the field. So I'm going to put that out there. They're not hiring in the field that you have the degree in. You're not competitive in that field because you don't have experience. I'll say that. Also, you may have a degree in, and I'm going to minimize the numbers so you can follow me. You may have a degree in a certain area that only 6 people can be hired for that job. So it's like, okay, well, the 6 are already there, so it's hard. Now I have to make myself competitive in that field. Nursing, we know that we winning. Nurses is winning. You know what I mean? So that was a great field. I'm glad I actually did it after performing arts.
But the key thing you said, though, is they have to have a plan.
A plan. You have to have a plan. But listen,
Yeah.
I know if I paid all that money, I know me. Guess what? My children can actually come on here and they're going to be like, yeah, that's something my mother would say. That's totally something she would say. Right. And look, and let me see what my answer going to be. Let me prepare.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a good thing. At least they have a job. That's what we say. Well, I'm glad you are working. Nowadays, since nobody want to go to work, some of those jobs are paying top dollar. I'll say that. And I would prefer you to have a job. But you got to have a plan. So when I read that, I laughed so hard because I was like, I know that mother. Then I pulled the mirror up. Let me make sure it's not me with that child with her criminal justice degree. Ain't working in that.
I think
my best friend love.
I think you made a great point about choosing. So you need to do some research about whatever if you're going to get higher education. Make sure you're getting it in a good field that's viable for you, and then also make sure that the field that you're choosing for study isn't oversaturated, like you had mentioned in your analogy. I think those are 2 great points that people tend to skip over when they're going, young adults going into college. Yes, follow your passion as a hobby. There's an Asian lady, I forgot, she wrote a book. It was kind of controversial, this was many years ago, but it was basically talking about that, you go to college and make money in a field that you can be high earning, and then you can pursue your passions on the side. It's about stability, and like you said, there's a huge financial investment in getting higher education. You don't want to get what's called a throwaway degree, which is just a waste of your time.
Just to say you graduated.
Yeah, just to say you graduated.
I will say that I've noticed there's the degrees to go into. Translation is it now. Translation is it, and not just Spanish, because you got a lot. Korean translation. Look around. Look around. You be pressing number 5 for English. That's what's about to happen. You know what I mean? Also, a good degree to go into if you have, for my young adults, is coming out. IT, computers, IT, or the medical field.
Cybersecurity. Yeah, cybersecurity is really a big thing now. With all the different scams and hacks and things going on. So that is a very good field.
Lucrative fields.
Get in now.
I've noticed over time, especially with doing Battle of the Sexes, doing my little research, men make decisions based off stability. And you heard me say men, okay? Where women make decisions based off of dreams and hobbies. So when we plan our future is fine, let me be who I am. That nurturing thing, like development, you know what I mean? Personality development. That's females all day long. What is it that you want to be? A man will be like, listen, this is what you're going to do. A man. Stability. A provider. What's going to work? But ladies, you got to find a man. Not another son. Not an adopted son. I was going to say a son's friend, but then that takes us back to Jada and Will. Okay. Shade.
Here we go.
Right, Shade. So let's get to that. Jada and Will allegedly is Will is ready to divorce her. Do you think it's too late? Don't nobody care about it? What's going on?
Good, about time. Get your life back. You're still young. Get your life back from that toxic child.
Was it allegedly? Is it true that he went institutionalized for a little bit?
I read that too, but I'm gonna say alleged because I haven't seen anything.
Okay.
I haven't actually seen anything, and you know the way that the computer, the IT guys are, they can put you wherever they want you, and you look and you think it's real. So I'm gonna say alleged just to cover the show.
Right. I feel like if he did, he needed that because you can tell that there's a lot going on. And when you look at a lot of these actors, we have to remember they take on different personalities, they take on different people's, lives and things of that nature. So I feel like that they should be in some type of treatment because of all that they carry. A lot of times when they do get into those roles, they take on that persona, they take on that person's life, and I feel like they need almost
detox
to bring down themselves. And like I said, with Will and that whole situation, Lord, I'm so tired of talking about it. I feel like, yes, him and Jada's marriage, entanglement, whatever you want to call it, has been basically toxic for years. And everybody's talking about how toxic it was. And if he does decide to move on, move on. Go get your life, enjoy yourself, Let her go her way, let her do her thing.
Now, do you think that him saying that and doing that is to try to save his career? Because I'm going to tell you, fast forward, I'm going to wrap it up real quick. When I thought they should have been gone a long time ago, I believe that they stayed together just to save face for Hollywood. I really do. I think he should have never married her because I was upset about it. Because remember I told you I was supposed to go to the prom with him. So I'm like, nope, he wasn't supposed to be marrying her. She has emasculated him in every way for me just watching. And then you got that red table. You bringing all of your stuff over there. So now I feel as though that she was always jealous. Because remember, he kept trying to put her in the front. Every time that, on the red carpet, they would go to him and he would talk about his wife. Sir, we know her. Keep it moving. We're talking about you. And he was doing really, really well. And I just think that, he's an A-list. I classify her as B-. I do.
I give her a C+.
You give her a C+? Okay. Okay. She's all right? But, I look at that and I'm like, okay, is she envious of him? And I seen how she would always roll her eyes anyway. So it was like, now I have the opportunity to put Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, America's Prince, down. You know what I mean? And let people know that he ain't all that. I just believe that the devil, he's sleeping with the enemy. Go ahead, Amber.
I actually want to circle back to what Art was saying and say not just actors, but like police officers, first responders, military veterans, and also like therapists would benefit from like scheduled and like mandated detox.
Oh, yes.
People feel that they really take on a lot emotionally and energetically in their field, like in their career field. So it's not just actors, but there's a lot of people who would really benefit.
Well, let me say this for the police officers. I can say, and deputies, they do have that where they go, so they have that. And I guess they seen that there was a need some time ago because it's stress. It's stress. So I take my hat off to those who actually, and let me take my hat off. I tip my hat to those who are actually in that field. Because that's a lot. You just sign up, and the military has it as well. Yes, they do. So you have that. Acting, I don't know if you need it, but yes, it's a spiritual transfer. Just like it's a spiritual transfer, out in the world. When you take on that role, you take on that entire role. Let me say this since you brought that up, Art. Mr. Williams made it clear. He don't condone violence, so don't be putting that on him.
That's right.
He said, unless, it's self-defense.
Right.
So he made that clear.
My whole thing of it, what I was basically stating as far as that, because you could just see the stress there, and I do believe that Jada is jealous of him, because he has done his thing for so long. He is, but I'm like, why would you be jealous of your man? You know, this, you call him your husband. It's like, this is what he does to put food on the table. This is why you're living in a $42 million mansion, because this man is taking care and provide. You shouldn't want for nothing. You should be like, okay, do your thing, baby. I got you. Let me hold it down with you. It's like, why can't you do that? Because if you're not the A-list actor, I wouldn't worry about it because, hey, I'm married to one. So why can't you just support this man and be there for this man, hold him down, you know, instead of you being, you know, this controversial, you know, enigma in his life and saying, hey, look, you know, baby, I got you. Let me hold you down because you over here getting.
And let me add this addendum. He was there when she married him. Right. It's not like she didn't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was there. Go ahead, Nick. What? I got you, Amber. Go ahead, Nick. Did you have something?
Yeah. The fact of it, why would you be jealous of somebody bringing food to your table as well? Right. I mean, you share that table, so you should want to put him up on a pedestal every chance you get, like he does you. That is an equal thing. You're bringing each other up. So there is no reason for you to be. Listen. I wish I did have that type of man. Listen, what? We coming up together, yeah, baby. Don't talk about me. They're talking to you right now. This is your time. Because guess what? You're still reaping those benefits from him.
Right.
Okay.
That you would not have on your own.
Okay, Amber, I got you, and I want you to add, you know, respond to this too. So you have a female who's standing on her own, and you know how they call this like a power couple. So I'm standing on my own, I got mine, and then he has his. Well, the problem is now he's outshining me, almost like what men have a problem when they have a female in power. So it's like, what do? Do you try to break her down? Amber, now you know why I told you ain't that this. Do you try to break her down and like, okay, I'm the man of the house? What? Speak to that, Amber.
So as far as your first section of it, I want to say the answer is because I feel like this is part of the culture, holding a man down, I can also morph into playing yourself small, reducing yourself to make him feel big, right? And she's not that kind of a woman. I think she very much wants to have her own career, her own star power, her own brand, right? And then they became a branded unit couple, so I thought that contributed to them pushing through in the marriage and choosing to stay together. And then as far as like not supporting him and not, just being his cheerleader and stuff, yeah, I feel like it was because she wanted to stand on her own 2 feet. She didn't want to reduce herself. She wanted the attention for her. She wanted to be a star in her own right, on her own. Mm-hmm. Like that was her own personal dream for herself, right? And then her husband is fulfilling that or whatever. And I think that is the root of her problem. And then as far as like the inversion of it, and if the man is intimidated because the woman is more successful, like it's time to walk away or get some therapy. Like that's a personal problem within yourself, that you have a problem with your spouse being more successful than you. And frankly, it's a lot of men that have a problem with that. So I think it contributes to like the gender roles and all that good stuff. But it's just like either get your money up and be on your wife or your partner's level, or you need to get those feelings sorted out with some professional help, or you need to exit the situation.
Absolutely.
In this case, it would be her that needs
exactly.
Okay, Nick. Nick, I need you to read the comment.
Oh, she's a mental case. Mrs. Dimples says she's a mental case and need help. There's y'all answer. She is a mental case because she is the same. Like we have to look at it the same way. We don't want to feel diminished by a man or like, we don't want our man to be jealous because we're making more money. The same thing goes that way. Okay, you're trying to make a name for yourself. Obviously, baby, it ain't working. And we can't say that it's not working because she's married to Will. It's not working because, baby, you good, but you're just not that good. Work on your craft to get there. But in the same sense, do not break your husband down.
And that's what's crazy.
We would be jumping all on his case
if it was the other way around.
Turn. If the shoe was on the other foot, the tables would turn. We'd be jumping all over his case and dogging him out.
I'm going to say on that note, I feel like as a man, being with a woman that has a gift, who is gifted, you know, you have to understand, and I don't believe in marriage has a place. I believe you have a position. You have to know your position. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes your position is support. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if I'm gifted over here doing my thing, and she's gifted over here doing her thing, we have to support one another. You can't just. I don't believe in being jealous of somebody because they're gifted at what they do. If that's what you're good at, that's what you're good at. If that's how you hold it down, that's how you hold it down.
Now look at this.
I don't believe in being jealous.
Now look at this. This way. Through these lenses. She did not even want to get married to him. She said she was pregnant. Her mother said they should get married. She said that she didn't love him. He had to teach her how to love him, and she doesn't know how to love him. So those are red. But here, wait a minute. Wait a second. Those are red flags. Now, if you see one red flag, it's usually a parade to follow. He should have never did it.
Well, I want to say, in like a lot of cultures that are where arranged marriage is common, you don't love your partner when you meet them, and that's completely accepted and it's known because you're marrying a stranger. But there's the willingness to learn your partner and to learn how to love them. And so I feel like the willingness was the issue. And yeah, she definitely didn't want to marry. But in American culture, that's definitely a red flag. It's very extremely problematic.
It seems like, when I look at it from both perspectives, it's like my dream, as I stated earlier, is over. And now I got to focus on yours and play backseat. And I don't want to. I don't agree with her diminishing him and trying to, like I said, Brewster's place, like knocking it down, knocking the wall down and tearing him down. I just say leave. And I think that just staying in the relationship, and I believe it's for Hollywood's sake, you just made it worse. So now it's like, okay, well, let me redefine myself. Let me reinvent myself. I'm going to get this red table. Now, me, and I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm sitting there and my husband got a blue table, okay, and that blue table talking about all this extra, the blue table bonfire, I would have shake that mug, boom, where my table? I don't know, we roasted marshmallows. Like, when you see it's an issue, correct it. Put the fire out. Boom, it's over. And then everybody would have had a problem. Let's be real, because there's a whole lot of people that's saying, especially men, and I want you to speak to this, Art. Men are saying it's that red table. Once she got that red table, that's when all the problems came out. We wouldn't have known about August. August had been saying it for years, but she told the truth. You got that red table and all your business is out there, and that's the issue. If a man would have took that red table and burned it, then we would be sitting here having a different conversation saying, look, if a man had did what I did, you know what I'm saying, and what I would have done, it would be a different thing.
I'm going to say this, it's going to be quite controversial. I'm like this, you should have been with Tupac. Because Tupac was the only dude that you really loved.
And he didn't want her, because he was with somebody else.
Of course he didn't want her, but she was in love with him. Come on, y'all.
That's her problem. Unrequited love is a whole psychological thing. But I wanted to add on to what Art was saying earlier. When he was talking about, knowing your position and if your partner is gifted and then you're gifted. But a lot of times, often, especially in Hollywood and other situations, one partner is gifted and the other partner isn't. And while the one partner is like exercising their gift and doing what they're called to do and everything, the other person, their partner, automatically their role is to be supportive. And I think an issue that a lot of people overlook is the person that is gifted has to be ensured that they are speaking life into their supportive partner as their role as a support. So I think one of the main, especially women, in this case Will Smith, they are in the supportive role, but they're not being supported in their supportive role. Like, they're not being appreciated by the gifted partner.
So do you think that they are mixed match?
Yeah, they're a horrible match.
Okay. The reason I say that, seriously.
That's really their night and day. And
see, wait 1 second, Art. And I say that seriously because when you are mixed match, we have, everybody's like, oh, the power couple. But let's be realistic here. And I'm going to speak for myself. It's men that'll come and you say this is what you want and this is what you're attracted to. But if you have somebody who is a boss, I'm going to use the regular term, a boss, you are attracted to a boss, but do you really want a boss? Because what happens is you expect that boss to build you up, be behind you, encourage you. Not that she's not encouraging you or behind you, but she being a boss, that she is out there doing her thing too, so she don't have the time. So men, I'm just saying this. Hey, listen, it's that author that I'm having speak at the Battle of the Sexes, he talks about being mixed match too. So y'all better make sure y'all come on out. But you gotta have, you gotta be match right. If you need that, and little women, and I say it endearingly, okay, and in a non-offensive way, but some men who are boss men, they might need that little woman to build them up. I need you to cook for me. I need you to do this. I need you to do that, to support him and keep him going. That boss chick don't have the time.
Understanding the position. That's what it is.
Yes, exactly what you said. Understanding the position. Go ahead, Amber.
So I want to read a comment. So Teco Trent, forgive me.
Oh, Tico,
I'm sorry. Tico Trent said, most people don't want to fail, but Will Smith is on another level with his obsession of not wanting to fail in anything, almost to a fault.
Now, you know what? I agree to that 110% because remember, he was going to college and he dropped out to be a rapper. So he always has to prove himself. And then he has one failed marriage and probably like, I don't want to do it again. But sir, at what expense? Listen here. You don't fail if you drop out.
Right.
If you quit.
Getting back to what you said, Mel, you asked me a question earlier about how, if he'd have burned the red table. You can burn the red table, but metaphorically, the red table is still there because of all the controversy that was between them. Mm-hmm. And for her to do it publicly, I think was the biggest mistake they could have done.
That's why I called it the red table, because it was public. They knew what they was dealing with at home.
Right.
You gave it to us.
I believe in this right here. This is what I believe. I believe in this equation. You keep it between the 2 and the 4. Let me teach you an equation. The 4 represents the 4 walls, and the 2 represents the 2 sheets. Especially when you're a public figure, it's certain things that you do not bring to surface. I believe that you should keep certain things private. You know what I'm saying? Because the world is watching you, especially when you are in that big of a spotlight. Every little thing is going to be ridiculed and nitpicked. So everything that they've been going through, of course, America's going to pick you apart when you have a public position like that.
And she knows it. I think it's just like any publicity is publicity. Right. And she's taking it because now everybody's talking about her. Yeah. But they're not watching it too much. But go ahead.
I want to speak on when you were mentioning Little Women. So as a little woman and a self-proclaimed little woman, it kind of piggybacks into what I was saying earlier. It's like, okay, if you're a boss man and you genuinely need or would benefit from or prefer a little woman, you need to be aware of that, and then also be appreciative of the support that woman is giving you.
Absolutely. And listen,
so it's like awareness.
Don't think I'm calling people little women. Rewind the tape and you'll hear what I said. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, and I think that goes back to what I was saying. It's just like when you're in the supportive role and you're fulfilling your role, but then you're not being appreciated in the fact that you are playing your position. Or as a more traditional woman, as a little woman, you've got non-traditional men desiring tradition. You both that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So it's just like if you want her to play her role as a little woman, then you got to play your role as the boss man.
Right.
Can we take the little out because you metaphorically is killing the little thing? It's what we mean by that is that, you know what I'm saying?
You're
as far as, we're going to say just a woman's role. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, don't say a woman's role. Don't you say that.
No.
That's another show. You got to come back for part 2.
Let me change that. Let me reiterate that. Lord have mercy, I ain't trying to get in trouble. Let me say a woman's position. Is that better? Can I say it that way?
We know what you mean, but go
I
ahead.
like to be inclusive. I want to, because I feel like there's a lot of human psychology things that it don't matter if you're gay, straight, it's there's always like a feminine, masculine, right?
Listen, we're just talking. We talking. If they take it the wrong way, that's not my audience. Go ahead.
My whole thing of it is, like I said, okay, let's just talk in relationship. Let's talk man and woman.
All right, we only got 3 minutes.
If I feel like if a woman knows what a man does and a man knows what a woman does, it's like if this man is a star, this man is, out here, he's a boss and he's doing big things, and she knows this about this man, then it's like if she understands, and that's why I say you gotta communicate, she understands his position, then she has to know what it consists of, what his life consists of. And I feel like you have to know the blueprint of a man just like you have to know the blueprint of a woman.
Absolutely.
So that you can coincide.
Now let me say
this. If you don't know each other's blueprint, then you lost.
Right. Now let me say this, and if you rewind, like I said, if you rewind the tape, you'll understand where we're coming from when we say this. When you are with not a boss chick, we're using different terms, okay? That does not mean she is to be disrespected or diminished. Right. So I want to get that clear. What we're saying is when you're dealing with two people who hold their own and have their own career and in positions of power, that's what I'm saying. You can expect a woman in a position of power to drop her power and drop her obligations or her job duty to come to you or to come to your aid. Now, will she come to your aid? Yeah, but guess what? It might not be when you want it because she's away. And same thing, but it works vice versa. You're dealing with a boss man and you're a boss woman and you need him to come to your aid. You had a rough day and he's not able to. Does that say he doesn't love you? No, it doesn't. But some people are mixed match. So if you have somebody like a female, it might be a bodyguard. So he's with you. And it's still a position of power. But his job might entail IT or something like that, something totally different. Versus the public needs me. So both of y'all are doing community service, customer service. The public needs you. Maybe that's the issue. But the public need Will more. And now you got a little break and Will wants you to be his wife. So it's like, okay, you sure you want me to be a wife? Because as long as I'm your girlfriend, there's certain things that aren't expected. Same thing, with the female. I want you to be my husband. Certain things are expected. It's almost like dating. They'd be like, oh, okay, well, once we get committed, I expect you to be my lunch man, my dinner man, my grass cutter, my paying my bills. All those 4 different guys that women don't sleep with, but she has all those friends, they have duties that they do. So it's like, okay, yeah, but then if you want to be my man, I expect my man to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 if I'm going to release it. So don't miss a beat. So with that being said, we're going to come to a close. Okay, so let me get today's footnote. We got y'all. We'll kick it again. Today's footnote. Be sure that you're not mixed match and make sure that you choose for you. Why? Because it's okay to be you. Hey, I love you guys for listening. You're listening to Shop Talk with Mel. We got my boy, and I didn't even introduce y'all because we just came on. Art B in the building. What's up, Art? See you later, Art. We gotta find a way to be like, oh. Then we got Amber D in the building. Thank you, Amber D, for being here. I truly appreciate you. Let's give Amber D. Lovely. Good evening. Have a great weekend, Amber. All right. Then we have the lovely Nick the Voice. She gonna keep it 100 for you. You know this our girl. She been rocking with us for a long, long time.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's say goodbye to Nick the Voice. ladies.
Have a good weekend.
And lovely people, yours truly, your girl, Shop Talk with Mel, every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, right here on your favorite podcast and all the social medias. Don't forget to like us, okay? What is it? YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff at Shop Talk with Mel. And if you don't have your tickets to the Battle of the Sexes, please get it. I'm telling you, this is an event that you do not want to miss. It is June 4th, 2022 at the Eastwood Event Center in Niles, Ohio. For more information, feel free to call 619-902-2287. 619-902-2287. So you know what it is. Find you, embrace you, most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people. Shop Talk right here. I'll see you, lovely people.